Hello and welcome to Business Reporter's Risk Management Campaign. I'm Alastair Greener. The best word to sum up the performance of commodity prices in recent years is volatile. Their prices have swung violently, and according to Peter Motley of the Motley Fool, they have left many resources companies and investors nursing heavy losses. And volatility isn't going away. Brexit is coming, the US is isolating, oil prices continue to surprise, and climate change has its impact on agriculture as well. It also looks like extreme weather conditions are on the horizon. Without managing this uncertainty, trading and risk management are survival games at best. But if we are able to forecast the weather by becoming better and better in reading environmental and meteorological data, then we must be able to recognise hidden patterns in the commodity markets. How can we see more detail? How can we connect the dots? And how can we make the best informed decisions? This is what we're going to discuss today with Manav Garg, CEO and founder of EKA Software Solutions. Good morning.
Good morning.
Commodities are obviously vital to the future of our world. Tell us a little bit more about the companies that you work with.
So the world of commodity is changing, as you know. So we work with the companies who are typically in a transition phase where the business models are changing. The farmers are having more power. The end consumers like Kraft and Nestle are looking for more power. So essentially, the trading companies have to change their business models. So they no more can work on just the information arbitrage. Previously, they always fed or made money by making sure information remained in silos, and then they gain a lot of knowledge from the supply chain, but that's not the case. Now, farmer is demanding far more better prices for its crop. There are governments who focus on it. There is an end consumer who is asking far more transparency how the food was produced. So therefore, now the world is moving towards one supply chain, a lot of transparency, and making sure the goods are secure. So therefore, now the companies that we work with like Garg or Rio Tinto are really working towards securing the supply for the countries, for the nation, and for the people, and in the process working out how do they make money.
That's the real key though, isn't it? Because there's so much volatility out there in the economic environment that actually making sure that you're making money and it's working is difficult when you're having to interpret risks in the right way. So how do you make sure you don't mistake those risks and get it wrong?
I think I'll go back to what I said. So once you start looking everything as in one integrated fashion, one supply chain from source, which to upstream, to operations, to trading and risk, and finally to the end consumer, then they're able to understand that which parts of the supply chain or the commodity value chain is getting broken down.
So how do they do that today? How do you manage risk in today's environment?
I think while the world of commodities have changed substantially, the underlying systems that people are used to manage the business have not changed. So underlying systems are still working in silos. So if you look at it, they'll have one system in the farmlands which is doing and understanding how the crops are being produced. There's another ERP system which is trying to understand how supply chain is moving. Then they have a trading and risk management system who gives you risk independent of these two components. While in effect, it has become fully integrated in the actual world, but in the world of system landscape, they're still working in silos, trying to do patchwork through the spreadsheets. So therefore, they're not really able to manage and respond at the same pace as the market is.
As you say, it's this sort of patchwork effect that we're having. So why is it so difficult to analyse the data correctly and accurately today?
So you are looking now for, therefore, three different things in a system. You're looking at connected data, which is connected from source, supply, to supply chain, to logistics, to your trading, to your book. So you understand how data is flowing. Your workflows needs to be connected so that when farmer is telling you that my crop is like this, your trader should be able to understand that in real time. Maybe he's connected to him through a messaging app. And then that same data flows to your trading systems, quickly have very strong engines which crunch the data and then give it to you in a very user-friendly format in your mobile. So that's what you need to do.
As you say, it's about connecting the data. So how do you go about connecting that data so it actually works and becomes accurate for you?
The way to do it is that you capture data at source and then continue to add workflows, engines through the data at every step of the process. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you say I'm going to source coffee, which we all drink in the morning before we come to office. So you say, okay, I'm going to capture the traceability data as to what actually went into the coffee growing in India or in Brazil. I understand the data. then when it comes to a warehouse, I want to understand, is the quality remaining same or not. And once I process that coffee into the warehouse and be ready to ship to, let's say, a Lavazza in Italy, I want to understand how it was shipped, how was the moisture content. During the shipment, did it rain? Is the moisture content increased? Number of black beans or more or less. So when it reaches Lavazza, you can actually predict what the quality was and how the coffee cup quality is going to therefore be. That's how a Lavazza can guarantee a perfect cup of quality to his end customers. So that's what you need to do.
Let's talk a little bit more now about EKA Software Solutions. What exactly do you do? Where do you fit into all of this?
So we are trying to bring the growth stack, so to speak, one supply chain concept to the industry. So what we are saying is that you no more can work in the silo of information or silo of systems. So you bring this data together. We have reimagined the world of Commodities software, what you call commodity management reimagined, where we have created one platform on which all these components can sit. So therefore, literally you can now track your activities from upstream to trading and risk to supply chain to our downstream activities. So for example, if Mr. Trump announces there is an embargo of X percentage on the car, so steel prices therefore go up, you can literally go into our system, understand what the data is, click a simulation button, say this what has changed, therefore what risk do I carry today if this comes into effect tomorrow. So that's what we have done.
You've told us that the environment has changed massively. So if you go and work with an organization, what's the process? How will you actually work with them? How will they experience it, if you like?
So we have really brought fundamental change the way people buy software and systems. It's like buying an app from an Apple store. That's what we have brought to the industry, which means you can really, we have a platform on which we have a universe of 80 different apps. You can literally pick and choose that this is the biggest problem that I have. For example, value at risk is your biggest problem today. So you can just pick that app and start working on it in 4 to 6 weeks time. And then as you grow, you can continue to add more and more apps to your ecosystem. And while you're adding those apps, your data remain connected, your workflows remain connected, and your engines are working for you all the time.
Tell us a little bit more about EKA, who you are, who are the people behind what you're bringing to the market?
So we are basically commodities people. So we have 10 global offices and most of the trading of London, Geneva, New York, Calgary, Houston, Sydney, and we have technology hubs in Bangalore, Adelaide, and in the US. So we are the people who understand commodities, we are the people who understand technology, and therefore trying to, I would say, turn commodities cool again through the use of technology.
You've talked a lot about being in control and having that accurate information, avoiding misinterpreting the risks and so on. Is it really possible to have that much control?
I think you don't want control. You just want to know if things changes, how I need to change. So you need to be more flexible. You need to have the ability for the organization to change at the pace at which the market demands today. So I would prepare myself to be therefore able to analyze any change or any impact that market is creating on my business today at the speed of light if possible.
You've described a rapidly changing and highly volatile environment. That's here and now. What about the future? What are we going to be looking at over the next 5 to 10 years when it comes to commodities?
So there are some new trends which are emerging. Blockchain is one, because essentially when you are buying a particular produce in a retail store, a consumer wants a trust that the origin of that particular crop or a bean is from the country he is comfortable buying from. So blockchain will ensure that you can actually scan your mobile phone on the barcode. It'll tell you your turkey was produced and grown like that. This was fed to him. Or if you're looking for a wine on a shelf, it'll tell you that this is the kind of chemicals that went into grapes, which then formed your bottle of wine. So you're going to see blockchain. Number two, I see, as data comes together, so as people will break through this silo of data and put data together, we'll have a chance of applying machine learning techniques and artificial intelligence in that context.
And let's be honest, in this rapidly changing and highly volatile economic environment, being able to rely on technology, being able to have that more accurate data is incredibly important. And as you say, to connect the dots, it's been fascinating finding out more. Manav Garg from EKA Software Solutions, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.